Howdy, boys and girls. It is Monday. Not really, but it will be when you see this. Monday, January 25th, 2021. Week 41 of our series here, Water Tiger for Sachem. This is Laoshi Lawrence McElroy. Series, of course, primarily put together initially at the beginning of the pandemic and lockdown as a filler for our suspended program at Sachem Public Library in Holbrook, in New York, on Long Island. But of course, for the greater community as well, to help us through these tenuous times that are continuing. But, you know, there is a new dawn and a new day. So, what we are going to do today is return to the theme of diversity in Tai Chi and play a little bit with what follows the second single whip in the 24 posture form. Different people have different opinions. The widest opinion is that it's something called high pat or high pat on horse. But there are some different ways of getting into it. And of course, Water Tiger School has its own, I wouldn't say unique, that's not the proper use of the word, but different way of what follows that sequence. So we're going to do a little warm-up. FYI, you might want a little hand towel or exercise band. If you don't have them, handy right in reach, this isn't live, so, you can hit pause, grab something and come back, or you can wait until you see if you really need it and hit pause and get it and then come back. Don't really have much else to say as far as a preamble. Coming up on almost a year of these now. The first one was March 23rd, so we're 2 months out from a year of these puppies. We were off last week, but we did an announcement or a reminder that there wasn't going to be a workshop, plus a few words about the day and the times. But that's not 41, this is 41, I guess is what I'm saying. Studio is still open for blended classes at this time. Still have some outstanding COVID disinfectant and cleaning protocols going on. And of course, everybody is masked without exception. And there you go. I guess we'll get to it. Oh, I think I'll do it here. Or maybe I'll wait until we warm up. Yeah, I'm going to wait until we warm up a little bit. So I'm going to start with a little bit of movement just to get that going and get a little bit of body, because the first thing is a stretch. They're both actually sort of stretches. Second one's more ballistic. It's more movement and warm up. But I just always want to start. Oh, I know what I'll do. I want to do timing. Yeah. This is a good first take and only take, because, we treat these things as if they're live. So when I screw up and when we don't have something, entirely planned out, and I make it up as I'm going along. So I shall have a mint. If you know me, if you know Water Tiger, I'm addicted to these things. I don't want to be moving while I still have a mint in my mouth. So, excuse me. You can sing a little song while I'm doing this. I don't know. Okay. So we're going to start with a little march. Get the knees up at a height that works for you. Right? You don't want to bring your hands down to your knees. So if you got a larger range of motion, hands up, knees up. If you have a smaller range of motion, then you're doing something like this. Don't make it too slow, though. You can go for 30 seconds here. And at 30-second mark, we're gonna open them up. Go for another 30. I'm gonna bring my knees a little bit high, or my hands a little bit higher. You can do fists, you can do closed hands. There's a tendency just to dribble just because. And a lot of times that happens more with the palm down version than the closed fist version. But you can also have a closed fist on this side, have a palm down side on this side. So you can mix it up. And a little holistic shuffle, sort of like your jumping rope. You can keep it grounded, or you can get busy with it. Another 30 seconds here. Again, you can do the step version. You can just do little ballistic steps and kicks. About 4 seconds left. 3, 2, 1, and hovers. Didn't lay out any tape because we're not going to be shoulder wide today. Our single whip, and most people's single whips, though not everybody, are not shoulder wide. Okay, so I'm a little bit warmer. I think I've mentioned when the temperature's colder outside, this little workout space / studio gets pretty chilled. I need to cut down on layers today. So here's another, if you know Water Tiger, right? And if you know me, you know that a little over a decade ago, I always used to do a lot of bike rides. Annual fundraiser for MS, ride in the city. Did the 5 boroughs ride, the Century ride, that sort of thing. And I always came home with a t-shirt. Those t-shirts have been my workout t-shirts since, well, pretty much the last 11 years. And they're pretty darn raggedy. As a matter of fact, some of them are more holes than they are t-shirts. So I just bought a new set of workout t-shirts. So that's today's t-shirt. So our first stretch comes to us from yoga, hatha yoga, kind of a power flow yoga. It is a standing torso twist. And the reason that I suggested maybe getting something to put in your hands is ideally, fingers are interlocked, arms are straight, and notice the palms are going to the ceiling. So, you know, you really sort of want the straight arms here, and for some people, that's just not possible in their shoulders. So what you might want to do, you know, an exercise band works, you don't have anything to roll up, but maybe an exercise towel, so you get the hands apart. Boom. Wow, it really looks, I think my camera is off, or I'm off. I think maybe I was off. Boom. There. So feet, you know, shoulder wide, maybe a little bit inside of that. If you can interlock the fingers, then fine, interlock the fingers. As the hands come up, again, this is yoga, so we have the nice straight and strong legs. We're lengthening the torso, we're lengthening the legs, we're lengthening the spine, we're lifting the crown point of the head. Breathing. Now I'm going to go to my left first. Oh, I know what I forgot to do. So I mentioned the last time we did one of these, not the announcements last week, that someone had asked me in a remote class to designate my left shoulder. And I was wearing, can't remember what it was. T-shirt, I think it was a dragon. And she was like focusing, she could see like the dragon's tail, the dragon's head. So this is my left shoulder, where X marks the spot. So I'm going to get back into that position. I'm going to twist and go to my left, but to do that, 2 things have to happen. I'm going to activate the abdominals to make the twist while also driving the right leg down. So the right leg is lengthening even more, driving down, opposite force, up and down, and the abdominals activating to instigate that in 2 directions. So breathing. Find an inhalation and then an exhalation. And drive into that, really activate that right leg going down, the arms lifting up to the ceiling, the abdominals activating that stretch. Holding the stretch, but not holding the breath. Since it's yoga, it's okay for us to hear your breath. Well, not this way, but it's okay for you to hear your breath where you're at. Most of the Tai Chi, most all of the Tai Chi, I mean, there are. And then find an exhalation and come back to center, inhale. Find an inhale and exhale. Again, driving the left leg down while extending the arms up and activating the abdominals to really create that turn, that twist. Just feel like you're wringing out a rag. You can play as you breathe with little pulses, exploring the stretch, squeezing everything you can out of the juice of life. Yeah, I steal things just blatantly sometimes from people. A couple more breaths here. Find an exhalation. Inhale to center. And exhale. And down. And there you go. Little standing torso twist. Feel sort of energized by that. So next we're going to do hip circles. If you have hip issues, if you have a hip replacement, do what you can or do something else. So a hip circle is simply bringing the knee in and going out. Bringing the knee in and going out. You can also go in and out on one side. We're going to switch back and forth between the two sides. It's just boom, boom. We're going to do a total of 10. So that's not 10 pairs, that's 5 pairs. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6, there's 7, there's 8, there's 9, there's 10. So there you go. A little warm up, a little stretch. Feeling pretty good. So we need to start with single whip because that's where this starts. That's how we get into the next thing. And our single whip, and we're going to stick with Water Tiger School's single whip regardless of what comes next, is inside of shoulder width, anywhere where the heels are not aligned or you're not cross-stepping. And by cross-stepping, I mean if you can see, right, if I bring back that front heel, it's crashing into the toes of the right foot. So as long as I clear my right heel with my left heel, I'm good to go in my stance. At a distance that's comfortable for us. The weight is forward. For some reason, because the stance is narrow, sometimes folks think that, oh, I'm 50-50. Now in our book, that doesn't mean that you're double weighted. Double weighted carries a different meaning for Water Tiger School. Double weighted in the principal way. You are literally double weighted because you're 50-50. But there's a Tai Chi principle that's, I think it's no part of the body should be double weighted, but this isn't what it means. Right? So not in forced stance, but you still want the knee over the ankle or the knee over the top of the foot, not over or beyond the toes. Front toe should still be forward, back toe should still be around the 45. Now since I'm not shoulder wide, I'm not squared off. If I do my hands on my hips thing that I always do to show people, hey look, we're supposed to be squared off, notice my left, see, there's the X, is pointed that direction. My right is pointed back in that direction. So there's where my hips and my shoulders are. I'm not having the hips in that angle and the shoulders square. My shoulders are still pretty much in the direction of my hips. My front hand is going to be palm out. Some people do all sorts of different things with their front hand in single whip. They'll do the knife edge, they'll do other things as well, but we have the palm forward. And notice where it's at. It's right about chest level. The back hand has to form what's known as a crane's beak. Now, some people are a little bit more specific with this than we are, but we're bringing the pads of the 5 of the 1, right? 10 on 2, 5 on 1, together, forming a beak. That beak creates a nice striking surface above in the activation across the top of the hand, and a nice striking surface below. It sort of can double if you don't have really strong fingers to do a single finger strike, then you have the beak to peck. Right, so it also serves as a hook. I mean, that's really primarily in single whip. The basic martial application is that hook. So say a punch is coming in, I'm hooking the punch, controlling the arm. It says if I had, do I have anything to double for that? No, not really. Boom. Notice elbow anchored toward the earth, but not right straight down. So you have that nice bow arm, sort of the unbendable arm, if you will. The beak is pointed down. It's somewhere where it's comfortable for me to have my sunken chest and rounded back. And that's our single whip. Weighted forward, palm forward, beak hand, beak down, only at about shoulder height. It's not up here, it's not down here. I'm not super bent or anything. And that's single whip. Now, in the 24 itself, we only do single whip to one side, and that's all we're going to do today. New t-shirts, strings, I haven't trimmed them all off yet. So I have a little dangly here. Aren't you happy for me? Should have checked before we went to production. So that's single whip. Now, high pat on horse, again, looks different from different people and different lineages. Some aspects of it look similar to what Wander Tiger School does in one aspect of what it is that we do. Some of the movement looks very familiar to what Wander Tiger School does. Some of the movement looks familiar to some of our other diversity videos, you know, the diversity of horse's mane 3 into white crane, the diversity of brush knee 3 into plain and pay paw, diversity of Fair Lady 2 into needle at sea bottom. So the first one I'm going to show you is sort of a very soft version of high pat on horse, or high pat. Of course, you have your single whip. Get into your single whip. Boom. And as you start to move more weight into the front foot, the palms turn up. So from here, starting to weight, there's my X, left leg, left foot is gaining weight. The palms turn up. I bring in the foot, and I do more or less what we refer to at Wander Tiger School as kind of a Kung Fu half step, because I was back here and the foot was at the 45. I'm bringing it in and I'm setting it down at the 45. Boom. So I'm sort of moving here, and again, it's sort of like a Kung Fu half step. So palms come up. As I bring in that back foot, I shift the weight to the right foot. As I start to turn, the left hand, palm up starts to pull in toward the abdominal cavity. The right hand palm up starts to fold into the ear, and I begin to chamber my left leg. As I extend that left leg to the ball of the foot, palm leading forward, boom. Ball of the front foot, the left foot is down, left hand at about the Xia Dantian acupuncture point level, palm up, and this palm resting on the horse. So from the side, that would look, boom. Turning a little bit back as the palms open, Kung Fu half step, folding in, chambering the leg, palm to the belly, palm up, fingertips across and hand across the center line, and high pat on horse. Or if I want to be funny, hi Pat, how's your horse? Again, stealing blatantly from other people. So as I was doing research on these different moves, that's what somebody did. It's kind of my sense of humor, so I guess you shouldn't be surprised. I probably would have said something like that, even if I hadn't been exposed to it. So I'm going to do it this way. So again, left, see there's the X. I'm in a left forward, sort of Tai Chi's version of what would be known as a T stance in the single whip, right? T stance is actually here. Boom. As I weight the forward foot, the left foot, both palms turn up. I bring in that right foot, set it down, begin to chamber the left leg, bring the left hand into the center line, palm up, and extend the right hand in that little pat. And there you go. Version 1. One more time, facing you. I guess I could do it moving away from you too. Why don't I do that? I've been seeking to do this a little bit more too, because when I lead in a class, a lot of times, that's what I do. I'm in front. So, boom, you know, it only took me what? March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, oh yeah, January. Boom. Boom. I'm going to close this time. The whole body engaged. So, version 1. Version 2 is something that looks a little familiar to folks in Water Tiger School who have learned this next sequence, or what comes after single whip in our lineage. So this is a little bit more, I don't want to say dynamic, because everything we do is dynamic, but the last one was very, very gentle. This one, it has a little bit more explosive essence. In other words, the feeling, the potential to explode. Because when we play Tai Chi in the form to Water Tiger School, that means we have explosive essence. When we fight, we have explosive power. So same single whip, same back foot at 45, same not shoulder wide, same hips angled, belly button sort of going to this 45, hips sort of going to that 45, palm forward here. Now here, some of it's going to look almost the same as what we did. The elbow is going to bend and come in by the ear for the right hand. There's no palm up here. And I'm going to start to rock back as things start to fold. So I don't have the very defined palm up, but I still end up doing that as I rock back. And the rock back, the ball of the foot is coming up off the ground. So I'm here, rocking back, ball of the foot's coming up off the ground, coming in, twisting, palm down on the right hand, knife edge of the hand driving up, left hand pulling in toward the left hip, fingertips forward. High pat on horse. And notice, camera angle wise, I'm right at throat level, which is very similar to what we do at Water Tiger School at one point. So I have my single whip coming in, switching to the ball of the foot, and striking up. Rocking back, switching to the ball, snapping forward, twisting. Very much right is turning forward, left is turning back. Make sure that right knee still stays in that direction. Even though I do the twist, I'm not pulling the knee with me. So from the side, I'm facing the left. There's my X. X marks the spot, not like an X something. Coming in, switching. I feel better doing the first one for some reason, which is odd. And then this way. I think because of the step forward, which is very much water tiger school-ish, or a part of what it is that we do. Facing away. So again, I'm not bringing the back foot in, and I'm not raising at this point the foot. I'm just raising the ball of the foot. I'm sitting back into the back leg. From the stance forward to back, starting the twist, dropping the ball of the foot, switching heel to ball as I pull the left hand back toward the left hip, twisting the torso. Right hand is palm down, knife edge or pinky side of the hand up. And I also just want to point out that arm is bent and open. Boom. Version 2. So, I will point out that sometimes in experiencing other people's Tai Chi, I've adjusted what I do. Because it's like, oh, that feels better than what I do. And I'll spend time contemplating and going back, comparing, doing some research, seeing if there's like various opinions about something. But generally it comes down to, hey, that works for me. You know the Taoist principle, the idea that we expose ourselves to as much as possible. We incorporate what works for us. We disregard what doesn't. And we add our own. So Water Tiger's version is a sequence of moves from the second single whip that we call the apparent opening sequence, because it begins with apparent opening, which is, I always joke about, it's our Daniel-san moment, because it looks like crane technique from the original Karate Kid. And then goes into a sequence that takes us into our high pat on horse and ends with a movement we call snake spits poison. So here we go. Boom. We have our single whip. As we're bringing in the back leg, it's almost as if this arm cross is chambering that back leg. We drop the right foot at the 45, right behind the left. The arms begin to spread, and we lift the left leg. Oops. Here comes a sneeze. Don't worry, it's not C19. Boom. Then raise the leg, if we can, a little bit higher. The left hand comes in. The sneeze threw off my balance. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Left hand palm up on top of the thigh. If you have to be down here, that's fine. Right hand from this position, palm down to the left palm. That slap really isn't supposed to be there. It's just boom, right? Boom. Now, here's our high pat on horse. Ends looking the same way as version 2. How long can Lawrence stand on his right leg? Twisting over to the left. Ball the foot down, hand knife edge, palm down, throat level. Twisting. Now I've twisted. Notice that my left heel is kicking forward because of this body twist. A slight twist like before, and the heel will probably still stay back. A more dramatic twist, and that heel's probably going to kick forward. Now, I'm going to bring in that left leg again as the right hand slides up and over, or the left hand slides up and over the right hand, back. Snake spits poison. Palm up, kind of a spear hand, not too tense. Boom. And that's Water Tiger School's sequence. So just FYI, the slap thing, I sort of dramatized that. We had a person in one of our programs at Sachem years ago. We had a number of classes at Sachem, and it was our evening class. I'll just use her first name. Dolores would always refer to this sequence in a certain way, and it wasn't the apparent opening sequence, which, I both enjoyed the way she named it and didn't enjoy the way she named it because it has its own name. But she called it slap, slide, and shiv. So, single whip through the apparent opening sequence. Little rock back. I didn't include this, right? So I do a little rock back, the hands open. Little turnout, not very much. Coming in, I'm twisting over toward the left to cross the arms, really including some Chan-Si in this time through. Dropping the right foot is accomplished by a twist over to the right. Remember our abdominals being active in the standing side twist? Over to the right. Turning back to center, there's the preparation or the slap. Here's the twist over to the left, high pat on horse. Now from all the way over to the left to all the way over to the right, snake spits poison. This direction, which happens to be, if this is my left, that's my right. Is that getting annoying yet? Don't answer. Single whip. Little rock back, opens the hands, a little turnout. Little cross. Turning over to the left, opening up to the right, apparent opening. Crane technique. If done right, no can't defend. Preparation. High pat on horse. Snake spits poison. Now, if you've been following this series, when we've done these diversity things, they happen, and then the next week, we introduce a walking exercise, hitting the elements that with which we have just spent time the week before. So that's a big hint as to what's coming in next week's Water Tiger for Sachem. Single whip. Little rock back. Twist. More subtle twisting of the towel. Takes us over to the left. Chambers the right leg. Crosses the arms. Twirling or twisting the towel to the right. Opens up those arms. Prepares the leg. Knee comes a little bit higher. And again, I can do this. Let me do it a little bit more subtly. Boom. Boom. Ball of the foot still on the ground. Toes just above the ground. Boom. Boom. So I can keep the foot down if I need to. And touch, and hopefully not a lot of extra weight, like 99, my ideal would be 99.999% of my weight on my right leg, and whatever that is, 0.001 on my left leg, just enough so I don't fall over. But if you have the range of motion, I don't want to get too dramatic with it. Once had a student that, would bring his knee like up to here, and it's like, that's just too high, that's just too silly. Boom. Sometimes just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should do something. Boom. Boom. Hopefully without the little stops. Last time this direction. Single whip, little rock back, little turn out to the left, little twist, little Chan-Si over to the left, Chan-Si over back to the right. There's the apparent opening part. Here's the preparation. Slap, high pat on horse, slide, snake spits poison, shiv. One more time facing you. Because I wasn't happy with that one. Boom. Not all that happy with that one. You go that way again. Might be here for a while if I keep screwing this up. So there you go. A little diversity in Tai Chi. Different ways, different lineages will come out of single whip and move into what's next, which for most people is some version of high pat on horse, that sort of thing, those sorts of names. I always enjoy spending a little bit of time doing those kinds of things, sort of doing those comparisons for people. I mean, I will admit the sequence from Water Tiger School was the sequence from Black Dragon School, and it has a flavor of sort of a Japanese or an Okinawan karate sequence. You can actually see a version of it in the second Die Hard movie, and obviously apparent opening, screams of the Karate Kid. But there is an apparent opening in Water Tiger's long form as well. But anyway, my instructor learned Tai Chi when she was in Japan. And I could change it. I mean, it might make sense in some people's minds that we do it in a more Tai Chi-like fashion. I would probably lean toward version 2 as opposed to version 1. Though I see see version 1 more often than I see version 2. But I'm keeping it for now. I reserve the right to change my mind. But, it gives you an opportunity to sort of explore what you do, explore and seek to understand what other people do. I mean, that's always if I have a question about something that I see and, if I can't ask them why that is, then I spend some time with it and experiment and figure it out. Why is it that they do this? And it's like, okay, so what works better, what feels better for me? Again, expose yourself to as much as you can. Keep what works, disregard what doesn't, and add your own uniqueness. I don't think that's really it, but it's pretty close. So thank you for your time and attention. I hope you enjoyed today's session. And again, a little bit more than a hint, it more or less told you what we have on target, on slate in the queue for next week will be a side-to-side, in other words, left stance to right stance, walking exercise involving Water Tiger schools, single whip, and a parrot opening sequence. So you'll see me then. As always, Facebook, you can comment on the video without issue. YouTube, because we got spammed a lot in the early days, we now review all the comments, and I know that sort of turns some people off. But, provided you're not flaming us, positive, negative comments will be posted. Stuff that won't will be, things like, well, I can't really tell you what we were spammed with. Let's just say that it involved something that is, yeah, I'm just going to stop there. I think you get what I'm saying. So anyway, thanks. Mask up. Maintain social distance. Stay at home as much as you can. Avoid crowds. Wash your hands. And I don't think there's anything stopping us from 500,000, but maybe we can stop before 600,000.